Ooh, I like the mug.
Yeah, so if it was Zoom, it would not let me do YouTube. So all right, so we are officially live on YouTube, and I'm just going to get out of this because it will automatically go and bring us back. So welcome to the show, Cyndi and Darren Shifrel or Shifrel?
Shifrel.
Shifrel, I like that. Okay, I guessed right. After the morning I'm having, it could have been Smith at this point, and I would have appreciated the correction. So thank you so much for being on the show. I'm excited to talk about your business. I'm excited to talk about anybody who's still trying to do business in this crazy world and economy that we're in right now, which is why I want to do these shows. I want to promote all of our, shop local, support local, anything that I can do to help out. So welcome to the show. So big time, people love to know about the guests. So if you guys can give us a little origin story on you and maybe bring us up to your business and tell them about the business.
Well, ladies first, but
ladies
thanks for
first. That's my favorite thing.
So excited. I love your show. Seen
Thank
many episodes. I just love what you do for the community, and it's so cool to get to know people in the community from your show.
Thank you.
So take it.
So Ted, do you want to know personally, like how we met? Do you want to know about the business, how we started it?
Yeah, like maybe where you guys are both from, and then how you met would be cool. And then let's talk about, because people like that origin story. They like to get to know you. They like to get to know who Darren and Cyndi are, and then they're gonna listen more. I say this on the show all the time. They listen more when they go, all right, I like those two, so I'm gonna listen to them. So just basic origin stuff.
So I'm from originally Chicago, moved all over the United States. My dad was a computer programmer, and ended up going to a small private school in Tennessee. I grew up a very strict Christian girl until I met my husband, and he sodomized me.
Well, there we go. That's a word I haven't heard on the show in a while.
You might have a few firsts on this show, Ted. Just saying.
I love every second of it. Darren's probably going to just, we're going to call you David so they don't look up Darren. No. All right, good. I like surprises.
Anyway, so I went to school for music in Tennessee and went there for a few years and decided that I did not want to do that. Moved to Florida, went into dental assisting and worked for an orthodontist for quite a long time. During that period of time, I was living in Lake Marriott Apartments and ended up seeing my husband walking around with his cute little basset hound. And I actually came up to him first and introduced myself to him first. He was a DJ at the time, what I found out. And I was the orthodontic assistant, and we ended up started dating after that. Immediately, like a couple nights later, we went out for our first date and never stopped after that. And we were married pretty soon after that. That's a whole nother story, which we don't need to get into today. That's our Ted Bogert show part 2. But so we ended up getting married pretty quickly after that. And he was always entrepreneurial, and I was as well. I started my own piano studio. He was still doing DJing. I ended up having to quit working for the orthodontist. We started another company together, renting out bounce houses and water slides and fun things like that. And we came into the recession, and we saw that people weren't going to be renting out bounce houses much anymore. Right. And the market was very saturated. So he had this grand idea in the middle of the recession. Let's start another business and rent out Shibari chairs. And he came to me, I'm like, what the heck is a Shibari chair? Like, I don't even know how to spell it. Like, what is this thing? And he's like, oh, it's a great idea. Like, all of the wedding planners that I work with, they're talking about this chair, the Shibari chairs, and we need to get into this. I'm gonna start this business. I said, no, we're not gonna start this business. So we actually fought a lot about it, and he started it without my consent, and I continued to teach piano. And things got super, super busy for us. And I was answering phones for Orlando Wedding and Party Rentals when I was not teaching. So in between lessons, I would call back people. And what we were seeing is that we were losing business because by the time I would call them back, they had already found another vendor to help them out with their rentals. Meanwhile, my husband was also busy working his DJ business, so he wasn't always able to answer the phone calls either. So Darren came to me and he said, you need to quit teaching. I need you full time. And I really dug my heels in and I didn't want to do
A
it.
suggestion.
But I ended up stopped teaching, and it was very hard because that was my passion. I taught about 40 to 45 students every single week, and started this business, and it took off. I think I helped it take it to the next level because I was the face behind the business. I was going out networking, and Darren is not a networker. And so ever since I have become a part of it, I feel that it has really taken off and has continued to thrive. And so I caught the bug, and I just love doing what we've been doing for the past 12 years with Orlando Wedding and Party Rentals.
And Darren, are you going to tell me your version?
Fine. You know, it's interesting as a husband and wife couple who are running a business together, and I guess that's part of our fun story is the interesting things that come up when you're a husband and wife. But no, her story is good. But I'm from New York originally, and I lived in New York, and I also lived in South Florida. And I used to work for TV and radio stations down there in South Florida. I moved up here a couple of days after Hurricane Andrew hit, after I was trapped down there for a few days during the hurricane. And then I moved up here right after in August of '92, and I've been here ever since. And I started DJing to make a living when I moved up here. And then I did get lucky and met her where we used to live. And she's right. It was the cute basset hound. That was kind of like my
the dogs work.
Dog around the neighborhood. It never fails. So I reeled her in, and you know, this is actually the smallest city I've ever lived in. It's been New York, South Florida, and here. But I love it. Been here since '92. We ended up getting married in '94. We had a few kids. Started a DJ company, and then that kind of even morphed into kind of expanding out and doing, like she said, the bounce houses and tables and chairs and pop-up tents and things of that nature. And then I kept seeing when I was DJing weddings that brides and coordinators, especially, and other vendors seemed so frustrated with the rental companies in town. I mean, even to the point where I would see brides and planners in tears from the things that were happening because of the rental companies' shortcomings, so to speak. And I just always thought that it would be a good idea to kind of expand into doing the rentals for weddings and kind of do it the right way. So for example, back in the day before we got started, and we started Orlando Wedding and Party Rentals officially in August of 2008, but for a few years before that, I was seeing that rental companies didn't, and I thought this was the strangest thing, Ted, they didn't do deliveries on the weekends. But that's when most of the events are. So they would deliver during the week, and they would just kind of leave things in the corner, and people would just hope that they would bring the right things. They'd have to set up their own things, break down their own things, and leave it in the corner for the rental companies to come and pick up at the end of the weekend. And everyone just kind of thought that was the strangest thing. I never understood it. And I just thought that we can do things a little bit better than they were being done at the time. And I don't think it was anyone's fault in particular. I think it was just the way that things were being done at the time, but it wasn't really in the best interest of the vendors and the brides and the grooms and other people that were having events. Also, the other interesting thing was there really weren't a lot of selections that people could have back in the day. Like you could choose one or two colors of shibari chairs, and that was it. Maybe some acrylic chargers, a few other little things here and there. And we wanted to be able to have a company that could provide all kinds of choices that brides and grooms could.
So it's Orlando Wedding and Party Rentals, right?
Correct. Yes.
So did it start out as just, well, you worked for them, Cyndi, is that what you said earlier? You answered phones? Or when you first started, you were doing everything?
Our business. We started it together.
All right, so you were just doing everything like all business owners. You had to wear all the hats, no matter what they were.
Exactly. Yeah, I would actually, I'm just a little thing. You've never seen me in person, Ted, but I weigh like 105 pounds. I would drive these big old trucks And I would go in and I would set up all these tables and chairs, and everybody was just like astounded, like, wow. And I can still do that, but they, haven't needed me for quite a while. But when things would get really busy on the weekends, I'm like, hey, I'm here if y'all need another hand. And every now and then they call me in.
Yeah, she's
Love
a
it.
buzz.
She's well, you do that for your business, but I would imagine that must have been a sight to see little old you driving that big truck and setting everything up. All right, so talk about the reason we're doing these shows is to promote. And so the it's a weird, crazy world we live in. Nobody's really having parties or having weddings for that matter. So
Okay.
talk about what you all are doing or are able to do, how you're staying creative, how you're what you're planning, like what are you utilizing this time to do when you can't have a wedding or a party?
So one of the things that we can do, we just haven't really secured much business in doing this right now, because I believe that FEMA, government, federal agencies have gone to some of the bigger tent rental companies out there, but there was a need, and there probably still will continue to be a need for the testing sites, for tents, for restroom trailers, for tables and chairs, for barricades. We have all of that stuff. We've tried to do whatever we can to get the word out there about our items that we have available. We just haven't been as successful as some of the other big companies in procuring, that business out there. So we are still busy trying to do that, as well as just catching up on projects, on back end stuff that has, emails that we have really been far behind on. And then also inside our facility, our guys are busy cleaning all of our product, organizing, purging some stuff that doesn't need to stay in our inventory anymore, updating our inventory counts. So that's what we have been doing. Would you like to add to that, Darren? What else?
No,
Well, I
yeah,
have a
that's
question. Let me ask a quick question about that. Please jump in. I feel like you guys would have your finger on the pulse of maybe when the industries as a whole are thinking that perhaps there's going to be the availability to do, let's say, a wedding. So have you all experienced that the hotels are saying, all right, so we can plan for July, we can plan for June, we can plan for August. I think it's important kind of for people to know, if you know, what people are actually saying. All right, you can have, like a friend of mine, my daughter's friend, September is when they moved her wedding from a May wedding. What are you guys seeing?
Well, first of all, that September wedding, ask them if they need any rentals. We're here.
Yeah, well, Disney's one of our big clients, and we've noticed, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that they've said that all of their resorts are going to be closed through the end of April. So I think that's going to kind of be the big kind of domino. I think people, our hope is that Disney's going to see that it's, good to open, good to start doing business at some point. And then I think a lot of other venues and resorts will hopefully follow suite, including the wonderful Citrus Club that we love and are so sad that we don't get to be with you at today.
I know. We'll have a real meeting when all of this changes.
Sounds good. We'll have that drink with you there.
Oh yeah, I mean, here's the thing: we've all had to adapt, right? It's so
Yeah.
strange as social people, which I know. Darren, if you're not, to me you are. We're all social people. We're all out there, and so this is a new world we're trying to maneuver through, and I think that people are looking for any kind of idea of when normalcy is going to come back. And what I keep telling people, it's not going to go back to the way it was. I don't think, which is a good thing. So we're going to have all of the good stuff I'm hoping that we got from this, and businesses like you are figuring out how to still remain open, still plan, you're obviously both very positive human beings, still being positive and creative, even when there are no events for you all to book, recent upcoming events. And I think it's important for people to see, and I want people to see you all and remember Orlando Wedding and Party events, right?
Party rentals, Orlando Wedding.
Rentals, that's it. Because I think it's important for people to see, all right, these guys are still staying positive. I can stay positive, and then I want them to remember you.
Thank you.
No, it is interesting, and it is sad that all the events some have canceled, some have postponed, most of them have postponed. I think there will be maybe a little bit of a trend of people having some smaller events in their backyards, and we'll be here to help them with that. But I know that there are a lot of brides and grooms and even corporate clients that are waiting. The $1,000,000 question: when are they going to be able to have their events? You know, we're hopefully later this summer, knocking on wood right now, Ted. And if that happens, I think it'll be a wonderful thing. The industry will be able to kind of get back to where it was.
Amen.
Some of the people that I've talked to, you know, wedding planners, caterers, some of them are being more optimistic than me. I tend to err more on the side of caution and rather be pleasantly surprised than be disappointed. I'm thinking it's going to be August before we really get back to work on, you know, weddings at venues as well as in people's backyards. But some of the people I've been talking to are thinking May, which would be amazing, you know, like mid-May, end of May.
You know, it's interesting. There's so much information out there about, you know, different stuff, and so that's why people are confused. We all want to remain positive, and then we hear something that's completely off. And so it's that's why these shows to highlight people like you all that are remaining as positive as possible are just so important. Now, I want to ask, what are you all doing other than work to stay positive and to keep in the positive and keep in the creativity? Personally, what are you guys doing?
Lots of puppy time.
Yeah, so I don't know, Ted, if you've seen our dog PJ, he's a 1-year-old golden retriever. So
I love Goldens. I have 2.
okay,
Aww.
oh, we'll have to introduce our puppies one day to each other. Have a little puppy play date. So
we had a big birthday party for him over the weekend, so that was fun.
Big birthday party. It was just the 2 of us with PJ, but we did a Facebook Live and we had quite a few people join in. So we've been spending a lot of time with him. I've been a lot more in the kitchen, which has been fun. It's been a stress outlet. I've been just really reaching out to all of my, you know, family and to vendor friends, just trying to. I've always been that positive person and encouraging person and loving person, and trying to do whatever I can to spread that to everybody else and to encourage everybody. So I've been using my time for that. And
just to see if there's anything we can do to help anyone we know, you know, even our vendor friends, if there's anything that they need. You know, we heard the other day that one of them, you know, they have kids, and so they have to make kind of a makeshift classroom in their house. So we're like, oh, well, maybe we could help out and let them borrow a table to put some stuff on and some chairs, just things like that, whatever we can do on our end to help out a little bit. And, you know, we've even been thinking, you know, what, you know, there's no events. So what can we do if we can't do events? Is there anything we can try to do to help the community? So if there was one thing I was going to see if we could, you know, maybe even some sort of plea that we can get out there. It's, hey, we've got this huge warehouse space. We have these trucks, we have extra hands. Is there anything we can do to help anyone in the community with what we have? We would really love to try to help in any way.
Love that. And I think people will do appreciate that, and they don't forget that. So a big kudos to you guys, because I'm sure there is a need. I feel like people don't even know how to reach out. That's why, again, on the shows, the promo, letting people know what you can do in the community is so important, because there could be somebody who has a need for something that you can help with. And if you're willing to help, which you both are obviously givers, that's so important. And but a lot of people don't know to reach out. They think everybody's shut down in a fetal position. They don't think anybody's talking or going anywhere, and maybe they're not going anywhere, but we can still talk, we can still engage, we can still try to figure out ways to help each other. And you guys have such a unique business, I think. So I want people to think outside the box, and I want them to remember you two. Right. Any parting words of wisdom, anything you want to share with them? I love these promo shows. I love to get the word out. I want people to remember Orlando Wedding and Party Rentals. See, I got it. Any parting words of wisdom? What do you guys want to leave them with before we head out?
You know, I love our community, our event community. It's been so positive and so uplifting. So many of the people in our industry have been reaching out to each other just to make sure that we're all staying positive, to make sure that we're all hanging in there, and knowing that, you know, we're not in it alone. We really are in it kind of together. And it's just been a neat thing. Competitors, other vendors in other areas, whether it's caterers or photographers or planners or venues, that's just been, to me, the neatest thing that I've seen over the past few weeks, to really show the amazing people that are in our industry. And it's just been so neat to see.
I would say, and I know your friend Eileen has done such a wonderful job with social media, with getting the word out about all the different companies that are offering specials during this time, and the restaurants that are offering pickup and the discounts and things. It's so important that we support each other and support these small businesses. If you're able to purchase a meal from them to go, that's going to do so much to help that company stay in business. And then even with us, we are doing some small events during this time. People are like, no, we had this date, we're still going to do this, but instead of having 100 people, it's just family. And instead of being at the Ritz-Carlton, we're now going to have it in our backyard. And so we are doing small events like that, so we can still do that. So if we can help you with a birthday party, we would love to be able to provide the tables and chairs, or whatever kind of event it is that you're having. So that's a way that you can support us and restaurants and caterers, people in the hospitality industry during this time. And then once all of this blows over, I hope that we can all continue to support each other by giving back to small businesses that way.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, you guys are a joy. I mean, thank you so much for being patient today. Thank you for doing what you're doing. I love the positive attitude. That's why I love these live shows where you can see people, because you can't fake that. The podcasts throw me for a loop sometimes because I can't see what the person's face is doing. And I'm big on that. I like to see it. So you can't fake that positive energy that you guys have, you know, the realness that you have and the want to help. And we want to help you as a small business. I love the fact that you're still doing things, because people are still doing things, and they're doing them. So nobody yells at me later. They're doing them within the parameters that they're allowed to do them. And so if you can go to the grocery store, you can have a party rental drop off if you're having a small gathering. I mean, there are ways for us to continue to support each other and still yet stay safe and stay protected. So Darren and Cyndi with Orlando Wedding and Party Rentals, big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you both so much. We love you guys out there. We're going to continue to try to do Facebook Live, but this one's on YouTube right now. And then we're going to share the actual real prettied up version where I get makeup and maybe my lighting's a little better on Facebook later this week. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Ted. Stay awesome.
Bye.
You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, you too.